Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Burn and Learn, the Cigar Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Steve Mann. I'm the host, and I'm here with my co-host, Sid Fuchs.
Good evening.
As well as my guest, Kevin Cooper. I will let you two gentlemen introduce yourselves.
Kevin, why don't you go first as the guest?
Oh, well, thank you very much. Kevin Cooper, I work in the cigar industry, Route 7 Cigars, and I've been smoking now for, probably 98, so I've got a number of years behind me. But background work-wise, I was a graphic artist for newspapers, magazines in Northern Virginia, Shenandoah Valley, and print industry went under, so I had to find other options, and along came the cigar industry.
Great, welcome. I'm
Thank
Sid
you very
Fuchs.
much.
I've been friends with Steve Mann for a couple of decades. We used to ride Harleys together.
Absolutely.
And retired CEO, and I started my career as a CA officer. Born and raised in New Orleans, and today I'm retired. I live in Williamsburg, Virginia, where I enjoy bourbon, cigars, and playing my guitar.
Beautiful. Well, again, very happy to have both of these guys here. Look forward to the conversation. And for this episode, it's just an opportunity for us to have a nice conversation around bourbon, as well as enjoy a great stick. So with that, cigars, gentlemen, what did you bring, and what's your selection for this evening?
I brought an Arturo Fuente Gordo 6x60.
Okay.
I started smoking these when I was visiting Key West, and they're hard to get, but it's got a nice full body flavor, burns very evenly, burns well, and it's got a nice full body. So it's one of my favorite ones.
Beautiful. How about you, Kev?
I've got the Ashton Churchill, the Ashton Classic, Connecticut shade wrapper with Dominican binder and filler. Great creaminess flavors to it with a lot of like fresh cut grass, hay. Wouldn't say musty, but it's very earthy. And the overall construction of these cigars, I've been smoking them since the early 90s. It's just perfectly balanced cigar.
Perfect. And I've got the Davidoff Maduro Robusto. Again, more medium-bodied. You'll find kind of hints of spice, a little bit of cedar, and this is a perfect smoke for a nice conversation amongst great friends. So I'm looking forward to lighting this one up. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and cut and light.
All right. Okay, I'm out of gas. Borrow that. All right, thank you. I got you. Thank you, sir.
What are you thinking on the first
Alrighty.
on the first puff or two?
There you go.
So,
Very nice. Smooth. Very good.
Yeah, no, I like this. It's one of my favorites.
You are a Davidoff man.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Maduro has not been out long, maybe about a year or so.
yeah.
Davidoff made Maduros several years ago, and then they went on a hiatus, and they just re-released these about a year ago. So
Okay.
I've been enjoying these ever since.
So I'm curious, how many cigars do you have in your humidor?
I have probably 300 or 400.
Really? Did you buy the big tall one where you plug in? Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so the one I have is, I think it holds probably 1,500. But this year, my focus has been enjoying what I have, as opposed to continuing to buy.
stock,
right.
yeah.
So I'm not restocking for this year, and I'm just going through and enjoying what I have.
Well, if
So,
you get to 800, you'd be like Winston Churchill. That's what he had in his humidor when he passed away.
Yeah,
You know,
but Winston Churchill smoked about 12 or 15
day.
cigars a day.
plus a bottle of
Every day.
plus vodka, whatever else he was drinking, right?
Every day,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cognac, champagne.
Cognac, champagne, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've got a 500 count
Okay.
that was give to me.
Yeah.
And
Really?
I've got that one, and I've got 200 counts that just sit around. And those are for when I hear people going, "You gonna bring cigars?" Yeah, of course, you've got to have those cigars that, for those that don't normally
Don't
smoke.
normally smoke. Yeah,
Yes,
right. I
Because
hear
I'm
ya.
not going to bring out.
I feel like a novice. I'm only get about 50.
Yeah, I know. Funny story. So I do have a separate humidor for guests, right?
Yeah.
Because
I do that with my bourbon.
because you have guys that smoke cigars,
Right.
but when you bring out or have them try one of your really
Right.
nice cigars and
Yeah.
they take a couple of puffs
And they put it down.
and then they put it down,
Yeah.
you know that you learn after a couple of times
That's what my youngest son does. I
how to
give
deal
him
with
one.
that.
I give him one of these, and he'll take like 3 puffs and put it down.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. You get
Next time you got something for them.
You're gonna get the Prince Edward cigar next time, right?
That's exactly a little small. Like,
Exactly.
That's it. That's
with,
it.
with the plastic tip.
So no, like I said, guys, I'm honored and thrilled that you both are here. Sydney, as the co-host, happened to be in town, so I'm happy that you're here. It's awesome.
My pleasure.
You know, Sydney and I, as he mentioned, we've been friends since 2004, and we have evolved and developed our palates for cigars together over countless Harley rides, countless travel around the country, New Orleans, Dallas, New York, you name it. We've been all around. So certainly, jumped at the opportunity to have him join us. So very happy about that. And
pleasure.
Kevin, love to get into, your passion and your expertise around bourbon. Like, as it relates to bourbon, like I like a good bourbon when I'm smoking a cigar, but I don't know anything. I don't know as much about bourbon as I know about cigars. So I'm always super happy to talk to folks that are experts.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I just love to drink it.
Just go with it here. Go with it. So just have an opportunity for you to share some expertise with us.
I guess one question I have for you, Kevin, is with the floods in Kentucky recently,
Yeah.
I've heard that the Buffalo Trace and some of those distillers out there lost a lot of product.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that a lot of it was up high enough because I've been to the distillery and
Yep.
it really affected the gift shop and
Yeah.
the other side, the back side, more than it did the rick houses.
Oh, did it? Okay.
There's a couple places that I think it got into the rick house, but those barrels are off the ground by at least 4.5 feet.
Okay.
Because the first rick house you walk into a Buffalo Trace,
Yeah, it's about
they'll
4
tell
feet.
you
Yeah.
these barrels right here are 12-year barrels.
Yeah.
And basically that's Pappy or Weller 12, because Julian will come in, he'll taste the barrel, and he'll either say, this is Pappy, this is Weller,
Right.
but there's not much they can do because there's no way they can build up around to keep the floods out.
That's right.
At all.
That's
And
Yeah, I know. I saw that when this happened. You see videos and pictures online of the flooding, and you're like, wow, I hope that's going to be okay, right?
Well, they got the river right behind.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
that came up, right?
yeah, and it got to a point where the more it kept rising, you could see where the ground was starting to break away, and the one building was in jeopardy of
going in.
Going in. I'm like, it keeps going. I said the one rick house was, what is it, rick house H, and that's where they just store the Blantons.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You go out there. It's like physics from the old days, right? They take the barrels, the early barrels, and put them down, and then they get more mixing. They raise it because the temperature increases, so you get more mixing, right? So they didn't have fancy machines back then. So this used, physics,
Yeah,
to let it sit.
it's amazing to watch those guys move those barrels from
Right.
rick house to rick house, and
Right. So what's your favorite bourbon?
I'm cheap. I mean, in regards to something that's a low proof, I like JTS Brown, which is made at Heaven's Hill, and that comes in a half gallon. I think it's like $21.99
Yeah.
in the stores. Huge fan of Evan Williams White Label, which is a bottled in
okay.
bond.
Okay.
And that just, I mean, we do whiskey weekend, about 18 of us, and we all bring bottles for the communal bar, which is about 40 to 50 different bottles.
Okay.
And I took the Evan Williams one, the first year I went, and they were like, "That's amazing." And I'm like, "The half gallon was only $18.99."
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, you can drink good bourbon without breaking the bank.
Yeah, I drink very old Barton,
Great bottle.
which is a huge bottle. It's like $23 or something.
Exactly,
It's really, but it's, people laugh because it's like, it's kind of a weird bottle, and it's very, it's priced pretty low.
Yeah.
But I like that as much as I like some of the more expensive bourbons. It's really a good bourbon.
And I think the ones that they only get in the store now are 80 proof, because there for a while, when I worked for the ABC, Middleburg was always getting the 100 proof, and that was $9.99. And they would bring in
Did you say $9.99?
$9.99.
You could change back from a 10.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
How far back are we going?
2000.
Okay, wow.
Wow.
So they would get about 5 or 6 cases, and it was just fly off the shelf.
That's great.
Yeah, I think for me, like my go-to is Woodford Double Oaked. That's kind of my go-to. If I can find it, my next level up would be Blanton's or Elmer T. Lee.
But the price of Blanton's is going through the roof lately.
Yeah, I mean a $60 bottle of Blanton's is now $90,
It's
right?
$90.
What is that attributed? What's that attributed to? In your opinion?
A lot of it is Buffalo Trace is seeing how the secondary market is blowing up, and with living in Shenandoah County, a lot of those good old country boys go in there and they'll buy the E.H. Taylor, they'll buy the Blantons, and I saw one couple walking out with a bottle of the E.H. Taylor in a tube, and that lady was like, "Oh golly, that's in a tube, that's fancy," and I'm going, "They're selling that."
Right. That's part of the price.
And the thing is, if the distributor or the distilleries are seeing that their prices are going through the roof, why not mark the product up?
Of course.
Maybe it'll deter them from buying it.
I don't want to interrupt. Can I have your lighter one more time, please?
Well, I think so basically what you're saying, Kevin, is they're figuring out what the market
That's
will
right.
bear.
Well, the
right?
people that can afford it will pay for it.
Exactly.
Which is kind of a capitalist society, right? Like,
Right.
figure out where the market is. And to be honest, cigars are kind of the same way,
Yeah.
It
right?
really is.
Like when you
Yes.
think about,
It really is.
like Davidoff, for instance, right? Like some of their top tier cigars, you'll see a 20, 30% increase year over year. And what they're saying is that, hey, we're producing all that we can and we're selling.
Right.
So we're raising the rates and they're still selling. There has to be a limit.
Yeah.
We're going to press until we figure out what that limit is.
Buyers at the upper end of the price range buy in volume. They're not going to buy one bottle every, once a year.
No.
They're going to continually buy that high-priced cigar, high-priced bourbon, so it's more volume.
Yeah. But I've noticed recently that, and just by reading some of the stories online, tequila and vodka are now the trending spirits. It's bourbon's kind of fell back into third place, but Blanton's, Buffalo Trace, E.H. Taylor, all that Buffalo Trace line, it's still going off the shelf, but it's not going off the shelf after 20 minutes, after being just once the store opens up.
Gotcha.
It's lasting a couple of days, because I think I was telling Steve earlier, I said, hey, one of the stores here in town, they still had 4 bottles. And
Really?
It's rare to see Buffalo Trace especially sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
And
I see that.
Yeah,
I see that now.
it's also
Yeah.
regional. Like I know when I lived out in Seattle from 2015 to 2018, Buffalo Trace everywhere. Came back here, and I developed a taste for Buffalo Trace because it was so plentiful in Seattle.
Right.
Came back here, couldn't find it.
Right.
Like literally could not find it. So that's kind of interesting as well.
And even in Kentucky, the one year I went down in 2019, you go into a Kroger, they would have an end aisle of half gallons and 750s of Buffalo Trace. Went down a year later, they're like, we haven't seen it in 6 months.
Yeah.
So
And
why
you
do
go into the bars, they weren't able to get Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, or Blanton's for 6 months.
Wow.
So why do you think vodka and other liquors are taking over first place from bourbon? Why is bourbon falling back?
I think a lot of it is just in order to get what you want, you got to go to the secondary market or go to other states that are privatized stores.
So it's easier to get.
It's a
vodka and
lot
other stuff,
easier, and you're not breaking the bank again. And because I know the one store that's right there close to the press club there in D.C. There's just a little bitty hole in the wall.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Yeah.
Blanton's for $150.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And right now it's probably $200.
Right.
In that store.
Yes.
You got to really want.
So in the Virginia ABC store, like we said, $60 now $90.
Right. Yep.
In the secondary market in DC, you're saying now $200.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I think it's interesting though, because you would think that you would see a continuous increase in rise in bourbon, because that trend would go with the trend of the increase in cigar sales and cigar distribution in the States, right? And
but
so do you see people pairing cigars with vodka and rum?
I've got
rum I've seen, vodka I haven't seen.
Vodka, some vodka, and especially tequila.
Okay.
But I also think the younger generation, because I have 3 of them, 3 boys.
Yeah.
They drink more wine and beer than they do the liquor. I mean, they love wine. When I was a kid, I never drank wine. I was always a beer or whiskey drinker, right?
Well, I mean, I grew up. My 20s were in the 80s. We killed the bourbon industry because we wanted Long Island iced teas, Alabama Slammers, whatever. It was all clear liquors.
Yeah.
So now these kids that are in their 40s now, they're the ones that's kind of like, and of course, I live with a woman from Kentucky, so I got introduced the right way to bourbon. And when I started hanging out with one guy I used to work with, and he introduced me to all these guys at Whiskey Weekend. Well, I'm starting to see things. I'm like, I've never even seen or heard of this one, and it's it's great to be able to taste things and be able to enjoy it, whether it's wine, beer, or bourbon. But
the one thing that amazes me about any liquor is that the consistency from bottle to bottle. You buy a case of Buffalo Trace, it's all good.
Yeah.
You don't get I've never had a bad one in a bunch.
Yeah.
And that probably goes back to how they distill it and they prepare it and they, the things they've been working on for decades, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a book out there called Pappyland that was written about Julian Van Winkle. And he talks about purchasing his father's bottles from the secondary market, and he can open it and go, this isn't what Dad made.
Right.
And you got to have a palate. If you've got that much of a palate that you can tell the difference from something that was made in the 60s to now. And what he's been able to do to work with Harlan Wheatley at Buffalo Trace, it's just amazing how, because I've actually sat and poured a Stetzel Weller 12-year that somebody gave me with one of the new bottles, comparable. I mean, they're just almost dead on.
Dead on?
Yeah.
There's a documentary out about the Van Winkles, which was really interesting. They don't produce bourbon for volume. They produce what they produce, and that's it, right? And that's why it's, $250 to $300 a bottle.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Kevin, I think I chatted with you about this. So my buddy Gerald has a condo down in Myrtle Beach on a golf course, right? We go down there once a year, and there's this little bar right on the golf course. Every time you go in there, they've got Pappy 15. And they're selling a shot of Pappy 15 for like $25.
Well worth the price.
Wow.
25, right?
They're missing a zero.
So
exactly.
So when we go, usually in the evening, and I'll just preface it by saying literally we can walk home, right? The bar is on the resort. We just finished a bottle because where are you going to get it for 25 or 30?
Right.
Like even I think they're even aware that it's underpriced, but they're like, this is how we have it priced.
This is how we get it,
Yeah. It's amazing.
So let me ask you a question for you guys. When you drink bourbon, another reason, we all like to drink bourbon. What's the feeling you get from having like your second, glass shot? Is it a calming effect? Is it relaxed? Is it, how does it change your mood?
Yeah.
I'm just curious how people react differently to different types of alcohol. For me, when I have a bourbon, the first one is a little rough. It's a little shock to the system.
Yeah.
And I let it cool down with a big ice cube. But the second one, I start to get into the groove. It starts to feel good. Or start to, it
Yep.
takes the tension out.
Yeah.
And how do you guys react to it? What's your mood when you're drinking?
Yeah. So for me, before I even get to the bourbon, I'm always lighting up a cigar first, right? Usually after dinner. And that first bourbon is always with a big rock.
Right.
I let it melt a little bit. I'm not kind of a neat bourbon drinker,
Yeah, I'm not either.
and I just enjoy it with the big rock. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of bitters in there, and then usually the second one, again, much more relaxed, and probably on to my second cigar at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I do something that Steve's aware of that I call deck therapy. So usually noon, I'm on my second cigar, and I'm just like, well, what are we gonna just go and grab a glass, grab a bottle, pour it. I'll drink it neat. A little first couple of sips, I'll drink it neat. I'll add the ice in there, and it'll kind of open it up, everything up, because it doesn't make any difference how you drink it. You drink it how you want to drink it, because drinking it neat, you're getting all that harshness, you're getting all the biteness.
Right.
With adding the ice to it, that opens up all the florals, all the aromas.
Right.
And
Right.
and then 2-3 glasses later, I'm just
I
like,
forget why I was
you're
here in
good.
the first place.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I got to tell you, like I follow Kevin on Instagram, and he every day it's the deck therapy, right? And so before, when I was working full time, I would see this in the middle of the day, and I'm like, damn,
Man, I wish that was me.
damn. But now, sometimes when I see the deck therapy, I'm like, you know what? It's time for deck therapy, right?
Right.
And I'm out there on my patio doing the same thing. He's always got the great shot with the bourbon and the cigar, and then he's typically got an ashtray that he's probably made, right, which is really cool. Makes ashtrays.
So does bourbon give you a different effect than like drinking vodka or gin? Does it make you feel differently? I'm just curious.
I've had some good vodka, and you gotta have a mixer to it. I mean, it's perfect with breakfast. If I gotta drink orange juice,
And breakfast is at
all right,
5
I'm putting
o'clock in the
vodka.
evening, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It really pains me when I see somebody pour Diet Coke in a good bourbon.
I mean,
please don't. Please don't do that.
well, the documentary, it's called Neat. The guy that owned one of the bars, he said, if I ever get the bottle Pappy 15 or Pappy 12, I'm making Jello shots. And sure enough, he made Jello shots with
Did
it.
you really?
Yes,
That's just a
that's insane.
That's a travesty.
It is.
Should not happen.
You can make Jello shots with any bourbon; it'd be just as good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about? Are there certain bourbons that you like with certain cigars, or are you pairing them together, or you just not give that as much thought?
It's funny because the like the Elmer Tea, I've got my second bottle now, and
Just rubbing it right in.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate that.
I
can't get one bottle. My man's got two. But okay, go ahead.
I really enjoy the Aganorsa leaf, either the Connecticut or the Maduro.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they balance each other so well.
Yeah, I think for a heavy cigar, a heavy bourbon, I like it like an Old Forester, like 93 or 105 or 115, whatever it is. Something that's got real body to it.
Yeah.
If I'm smoking a lighter cigar, I might go with like Jameson's or a Knob Creek or just something, off the shelf. But for a really heavy, like a really full body cigar, I like a really heavy bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like my taste and palate for bourbon is still evolving, so I don't venture out too much. I know what I like, and I kind of stick to that. So I've got a few choices of bourbon, and I'm not really thinking that much about what I'm pairing with the type of cigar, right?
Right.
Usually they just come together, and I'm not giving it a lot of thought. I make my cigar decision, then I make my bourbon decision, and I'm not tying the two or thinking about the interrelationship between the two.
Do you guys dip the end of your cigar into the bourbon?
I've
I
actually
typically don't.
there was a video of Schwarzenegger taking a cedar spiff, dipping it in tequila, and brushing his cigar.
I did see that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I did that with bourbon, and I'm like, all right, you can do it with anything.
it's good.
Any spirit, it works. And
Wow. Yeah, I know over at the shop, they sell the bourbon infused cigars.
Mhm.
I've had some of those. They're excellent. How does that process work? Like how does Kevin and Alec, not Kevin, but how does Chris and Alec do that?
they basically he'll buy a bunch of bundles from a manufacturer, and I think he still gets it from Esteban Carrera.
Okay.
So they'll take them and put them in these small plastic totes and put them in the bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
And I think he'll let them sit for a month or so to allow to absorb some of that nuance of the barrel.
Gotcha.
And I'm glad you said that because we're out now and I've got to tell him. So, but I've done that. I had a humidor that broke. The hinge just popped right off and
Yeah.
they wouldn't take it back. And I'm going, I'm not throwing this out.
Yeah.
Started buying cheap bourbon, putting 2 glasses in there, and I put about 50 cigars in there.
Just closed it.
It's just perfect.
Wow.
How long do you close it up and leave it in there for?
I had the one batch I actually forgot about.
Those are probably the best ones.
those are
right?
good ones.
Those things were, and I'm going, oh yeah. I said,
You're onto something.
Yeah, I was like, but somebody was talking about, you ought to try Scotch, you ought to try this. I'm like,
No. Yeah,
no.
I'm with you.
Bourbons, that's enough because it gives it it doesn't give it a true sweetness, but you get that essence of bourbon as you.
Right. So talk a little bit about, you went from being a graphic artist, you said, right?
Yeah.
Into how did you make that transition, and what you talked a little bit about it, but what was your thinking around making that transition? Did you go do something that you already like to do and made it your passion, or how'd that work?
So I'm sure Steve knows this, but I used to work in the Virginia wine industry. I worked
Okay.
for 3 different vineyards.
Okay.
And I worked behind the tasting room, and I years ago I bartended. So you've got to have that mentality when you're in there, because if you've been to Loudoun County vineyards, they're packed. Those people are stressed. So it's great to work in there and just move around. And I got to the point where I was traveling and visiting vineyards in the state, and I've actually visited 2 years ago. I hit my 200th vineyard I had visited in Virginia.
Okay.
And when I left there, I was a valet for a high-end restaurant, and then tried another career, and I'm like, I don't like this. And then I just happened to see a suggestion on Instagram, and I went, I'll follow Route 7 Cigars, and lo and behold, they were looking for somebody.
Very nice.
And everybody's going, all right, you work in the wine industry, and now you're selling cigars. They're like, you're living the dream.
Right.
I was going to say, how do you sign up for that?
Right. Exactly.
Sign
Right.
me up.
Right.
And so now I do 2 days at the Cigar Lounge,
Yep.
and weekends I drive bachelorettes around to vineyards and breweries.
Okay. So you've been around the industry pretty much your whole life.
Yep. And the print industry, I worked advertising, editorial, press room area, pre-press. I can
Okay.
if you want to start a magazine, I can help pick out the paper. I can tell you what printer to go to, whatever.
But I get the sense you're having more fun now.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Especially on the weekends, it sounds like.
Oh, that we
the
can't.
stories from the weekends.
Oh yeah, driving the ladies around.
Oh yeah. I can't get into that. That's for the book.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that's-
this is
that'll
family,
be- that-
this is a family show.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
that'll be for after hours.
So where do you think's going? Where do you see things going from here for you, as far as your interest in bourbon and cigars and wine?
I mean, I'm just taking one day at a time.
Yeah.
Right, it's all you
I
can
mean,
do.
I enjoy what I do, and I don't want to go back into working for a corporation.
Yeah.
I don't want rules and regulations.
I think that's a unanimous consent among the three of us right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it would be. We talked about it on a prior episode, right? Like the concept of a corporate title a corporate paycheck and all of the angst that goes along with that versus something that's maybe not as lucrative, but so much more personally rewarding and invigorating.
But I think if you go
and there's
through
a
that,
trend. You see a lot of people. COVID kind of started
especially
that.
the younger generation.
People
they
started
don't want to put up with it.
People started renegotiating the
Right.
way that their daily lives looked.
Right. Well,
COVID had people thinking about
it's
that.
a gig economy, right? People are doing their, the digital merchandising and TikTok videos. And,
Yep.
But I think going through that corporate experience we've all done, I think it's really good to have gone through it because it does build some sort of discipline and it does build skill, but it makes you appreciate what we're all doing now, right? Because you've been
Right.
through, that period.
Yeah, and I would add, I think the corporate experience also can give you a leg up
You bet.
when you go into some of these other sectors and industries,
Right.
Because the way in which you approach opportunities and challenges
Right.
are going to look a little different than the way other folks approach them that maybe don't have that experience.
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
it definitely
Yeah.
builds your critical thinking
Yeah,
skills.
exactly.
And I think that's, that makes you think happier, and more successful later in life too,
Well,
right?
And also, those earlier jobs disciplined you to get up, go in, be on time,
Yeah.
and do your job.
And be held accountable.
Mhm.
Right. And, right now with COVID, people are joining Zoom meetings. They're not having their cameras on because they're sitting in their pajamas. And
Yep. Guilty.
yeah.
I was going to say, is that bad?
Right. No,
Yeah.
it's true. But the world's changed, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's very few people want to go into that corporate environment now. They want to be more individuals, and they want to do their own thing, and they want to do it their way.
Yeah.
And that's just the way things change, right?
Yeah, and I think with, and people have that opportunity now. Like you said, the gig economy and the opportunity to do things more entrepreneurial, right? It just seems like opportunities like that are so much more pervasive these days than the earlier mentality around joining a corporation, working there for a long
Right.
time, working your way up, and then
Well-
retiring with a pension.
Well,
right?
I see that in the industry. I was in the government. That I was in Northrop Grumman and Oracle and big companies, and then I went to work for private equity. But there was always the next generation behind you of leaders coming up
Yeah.
to take the CEO roles. That's much harder now, because a lot of people get in and they spend their 5-10 years learning the business, and then they go out and they start their own company.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of M&A going on because there's a lot of small companies up for sale. So that talent pool is not going vertically up to the top of corporations. It's going out to smaller businesses.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point you make, Sid. And I go back to something that you told me a long time ago, right? So, again, known Sid for a long time, and a number of things that he shared with me have stuck, right? And so, one thing he always told me as I navigated my way through a corporate career is like, don't look back after 20 years and have 1 year of experience 20 times, right?
Right.
Be a 20-year guy or gal with 20 years of experience, meaning
Doing different
diversify, do different things,
Right.
stretch and scale your capabilities. And so, the folks that you see that have trouble making decisions, or the folks you see
Right.
that can't assess risk, those are the folks that have 1 year of experience 20 times.
Right.
And that's where you don't want to be as you look back after 20 years.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
That stuck with me. I was listening.
Yeah. You
to
were
that.
listening. That was the one time you were listening.
That was probably one of the few times, but I was listening to what you told me on that particular day. So
Right.
it's good.
So funny story about bourbon. Steve was, is it the double oaked?
Yeah.
And you said, did they have any of the double oaked at the ABC store in Williamsburg, where I live, one of the stores? And he said, it's down there. Can you go get it? So I drive to the store. Remember the story?
Oh, no, it wasn't the double oak. Kevin, you'll remember this. Do you remember about 3 or 4 years ago when Woodford came out with the Master Craft,
That's what
the
it was.
Master Selection?
Yes.
I was on the hunt for a bottle of that. I had everyone out looking for me. Sid's retired. He's down in Williamsburg. And somehow I went online, and they had 2 bottles. So why not? Just called them. And so
You called me. I'm passing by the store right now.
he literally was driving by the
That's
store. He
hilarious.
went into the store in Williamsburg, and they had 2 bottles, and he bought one.
But tell him how I bought the last one.
I don't recall.
Those 2 guys were standing there talking about it.
So I guess he grabbed a bottle, and there were two guys just standing there looking at the last bottle.
Decided if they should buy it or not.
And while they were deciding,
I
he
grabbed it
just
off the
kind of
shelf.
grabbed it and was gone.
I've got a similar story where when you had to stand in line at one point
All right.
when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
would drop certain things.
That's right.
Yeah.
You had all these younger kids that are younger than me, definitely. I've had this, I still got this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going, well, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And the guy in front, he said, well, I can't wait. And of course, at that point, there was Elmer in there and McKenna. Elmer only comes in a 6-bottle case. Well, I'm not going to get that. I'm going, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get the McKenna, but I'll grab something. So the guy that was up there just talking the game, he's standing there like these guys are doing.
Right.
Well, I don't know which one I should grab, if it's at that bottle there, and I'm going, and the guy behind me is going, you need to hurry up.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And I'm going, son, I'm sorry to do this to you. I just reached out there and I said, but you need to know what the bottle looks like.
Right.
Right.
And the guys were stunned. They were like,
Yeah.
it's like,
See,
I can't believe you did that. I'm like,
So the moral of that story is grab the bottle
Make a
and
decision.
then make your decision.
Yeah.
right.
Like,
You can always put it back.
You can
if
always
don't
put it
want
back. You can always put it back.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think my most recent experience on that was, Kev, I told you about this. I went to the local store over in Aldi, and they had the Woodford Reserve double oaked. And so I'm like, I have to try this. But, it was expensive. So I'm standing there trying to make the decision, but they have 6 bottles, right? And so I ended up not getting it. On the way home, I called my cousin, who is my go-to bourbon guy. He's like, go back and get that. So I went back to get it. I was just down the street, and there were 2 bottles at that point. So somebody had grabbed 4 bottles in the 7 minutes it took me to drive a couple blocks down the road and a couple blocks back. And then my cousin ended up getting a bottle for himself on the way home. He lives out in Akron, Ohio. And I'm glad I got it. But they also had on the shelf, I think they brought back the Master Selection because that was in the shop as well. This was about a month ago.
A lot of the stuff is starting to pop up, and it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And because everybody's pockets are being hurt right now.
Yeah.
And the like Murray Hill Club by Joseph Magnus, that's $109. It's been in my store now for about 4 months.
Yeah.
And they've been 6 bottles there. Well, after this weekend, my buddy came down from Pittsburgh. He took out the shelf. So he was
Really?
I can't get it up there. I'm taking what I can get.
Yeah.
And
You got to strike while the iron is hot, man.
That's it.
yeah, it's insane watching when we would get up on Saturdays, and I was driving that day. And my one friend, he was like, what time you go get there? And I was like, what time you go be? He's, I'm going to be there at 4:30. All right, I'll be up there.
You guys are going and getting in line at 4:30?
4:30
I love
in the
that.
morning. And so he's first one in line. Guy from I've seen before from West Virginia, second in line, and then it's me. And they start bringing bottles out, and they bring out like 2 cases of the half-gallon Eagle Rare, and of course my buddy, that's all he wanted. And for whatever reason, he brought out the Sky Vodka box. I'm going, what in the name of God is that? E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof, E.H. Taylor Straight Rye.
Yeah.
You had it hidden in a vodka box. So you wouldn't get jumped.
They were 2 lottery, with the way
Love
they're
that.
doing the lottery now.
Right.
If people don't put the right information in, even if your name is Deborah, everybody calls you Deb or Lisa or whatever you go by your middle name, you got to put everything in there.
Yeah.
Because any little, they're going to flag it and you're not going to
Disqualified.
get it.
Yeah.
So they had 2 people that couldn't get the bottles. So the second guy went, which one do you want? And I went, I'll take either one. He's like, well, I want the barrel proof. I said, I'll take that straight rye.
Yeah.
Right.
At that point, it didn't matter. You'll take
Yeah.
either one. Yeah.
Yeah. During COVID, they were lining up around the block.
Yes.
At the ABC store.
Yeah.
5 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I like bourbon, but I'm not standing at 5 o'clock in the morning to buy bourbon.
Yeah. I'll just pay secondary market rates, right?
Yeah, or I'll get something that's available.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. How about what I've seen and what I've noticed, and we were chatting about this earlier, the increase of new bourbons coming on, right? A couple of guys come up with a concept, they want to create a new bourbon. Like, what does that look like? Because I'm sure they're not going out and buying all of the distillery equipment, everything they need. Are there private label opportunities? How are these guys that are coming out with new bottles and new brands? How are they doing that on limited resources?
The one company out in Indiana is called MGP.
Okay.
And I mean, they've got massive vats, because the story I was told during World War II, they were making like rubbing alcohol. So they had, once they didn't need it,
They had the infrastructure, yeah.
They had it, and they were like, what can we do? So that somebody come up with the idea of making 10-year bourbon, just
Right.
straight white dog, and people that are trying to get into the industry, they tell them what they want in regards to mash bill, and then they'll send them the product, and then they put it in barrels.
Yeah.
So at some point, then they start accumulating, enough revenue coming in to where they can buy their own
Right.
processing, whatever, and then you can cut out that person. Then you got to, just like a restaurant,
Right.
you got to hire a master distiller, somebody who knows what they're doing. And
But
the
can't you just go to a distiller and say, I want to bottle my own, and here's the blend I want, and I mean,
Yeah, I guess
you
that's where I'm going. Yeah.
you can
yeah,
go
I
to.
think that's the less expensive way, in my
Right.
my opinion.
I mean, you can go to like I'm in a group. I'm on a Facebook group, and they're based out of DC, and they do barrel picks every year.
Okay.
And they just did a barrel pick at New River I think it was out of Richmond, and that's an MGB product. And what they produce is amazing. So they get X amount of bottles.
Okay.
So, and then if you purchase, I think it's like 7 bottles a year, you're part of the VIP. So you get a day early release, and you can buy up to 2. After the main release on Friday, then I can go in and buy a bottle. After that, then it's just fair game for anybody.
Yeah. I would think for that kind of situation, the marketing cost is where you really spend your money, because it's hard for these locals to compete with some of the more national brands, right?
It is, because, I mean, you've got to have distribution for one thing.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get out the product
got
out,
to
right?
be able.
Yeah.
You've got to have enough product to be able to go nationwide. And if you're only going to Virginia, Maryland, DC,
Now, will ABC stores in Virginia take local product and put it on the shelf?
Virginia is so fickle. I mean, because
I mean, I've seen like Old Cavalier from like Virginia Beach.
Yep.
And I've seen is it Cooper Hawk or
Cooper Hawk,
Copper Fox or something.
Copper Fox, yeah.
Down where I am, and
Yeah.
there's like the Three Crosses out of Powhatan, Virginia. But you don't see them. If they do, it's like 1 or 2 bottles. It's not a lot, right?
No, it's
Yeah.
not. They don't have a large amount, but they're doing a lot of barrel picks, which you'll see store picks, and they'll have an ABC label on it,
Mm-hmm.
like from Filibuster, Copper Fox, the one in Livingston, that does a single malt. But Virginia's starting to do a lot more barrel picks with everybody. I mean,
Okay.
they're about 2 months ago, they had some Buffalo Trace barrel picks,
Okay.
which would have been cool to have, because it would have had the Virginia ABC label on it.
on it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but anybody can go to Buffalo Trace and buy a barrel, a full barrel.
Right. No, right. yeah.
And because in Little Washington, they went down and they had a Virginia with their the outside of the
logo,
N
whatever, yeah.
on it. I would love to have had a bottle.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. Okay,
I
okay.
think you see that sometimes. A lot of these higher end restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
they'll get a barrel,
Right.
and they'll bottle it, and it'll be kind of co-branded for that particular establishment
Right.
and that bourbon manufacturer.
Right.
I've seen that over at places like you said, the Little Inn. I've seen that at DC Prime. I think they did a barrel selection of Blanton's one time,
Oh, nice.
which was awesome. So you see that more now than you have in the past.
And that's like
but-
the bourbon version of the microbreweries.
Yeah.
yeah.
The beer, it's microbreweries popping up
Yeah.
everywhere.
But I think to your point, Sid, you do also see a number of the newer and local distillers eventually working their way through the diligence process to bring those into the ABC store.
Right.
And so, one of the things I really like about Rebellion is that we always have an opportunity here to have tastings, and they bring folks in, and some of those folks are well established, and some of them are newer.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're all in different phases of
Right.
of getting their product into the ABC store.
Right. Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff's like Old Cavalier, which is from the Cavalier Hotel, Virginia Beach.
Oh,
Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm.
It's really, I mean, it's $100 a bottle,
Yeah.
but it's really good. It's heavy though. It's like 100 and something proof, but it's really nice
Right.
bourbon. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these craft distillers, they're putting out good. I think two of the best in the state are Copper Fox and Catoctin.
Good talking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Catoctin, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're known for the rye more than anything.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I know. When we were out in Seattle, we would ride out in. There's a place right outside of Seattle, out in the suburbs, Woodinville.
I've heard
Have you
of it.
tried the Woodinville?
I think
It's really good.
I think we did one of those as one of our tastings for whiskey weekend.
Yeah.
Because we do 3 different tastings that weekend. We'll do bottled in bond, all cast strength, or just
Right.
West Coast, and one of the bottles was that, and I was impressed with it.
Yeah. No, I like it. So right out there, it's in Woodinville, Washington. They've got, when you think of a tasting room like you see for wine, they have that, but it's for bourbon.
Yeah,
And it's always a great time. Spend a Saturday there. And I think right across the street is a huge winery. Some people will do the bourbon and the wine on the same day. I typically didn't, but Woodinville whiskey was a nice place to go when you're in Seattle. And the whiskey and the bourbon's pretty good.
yeah.
So, are there
Yeah,
any
it's good.
places in Virginia where they're doing the bourbon tasting along with cigar sampling at the same time, kind of putting the two together?
I talked to the guy that runs Filibuster. I was telling him I work for a cigar shop.
Right.
He said, I'd love to do it, but the problem is the state won't allow us to sell, cigars, or even, he said, I might be able to do a tasting and a cigar pairing, but he said, I have to, probably get a separate license. And
They won't let you sell cigars at a tasting.
no, I mean, a vineyard, you have to get a special tobacco
Really?
license.
Wow.
You have
Okay.
to. But like at a distillery, I don't think you can do it.
Right.
Yeah, but here, like in a private lounge. I mean, we
did
do
it at 23. Remember, we used to do that.
We do pairing here. We do cigar
We do
and
cigars
bourbon
and bourbon.
pairings here.
Yeah.
23 would be another example. Like private lounges, I think they have some sort of exemption for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys still ride Harleys together, or?
Sold it.
So
I was gonna say, I mean, there's 2 dives back where Lone Oak Tavern.
Yeah.
That's like one of the last smoking bars.
I
and-
regret selling, by the way. Yeah. So
You'll live longer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I left the area in 2015, and when I left, I didn't have a bike. But as soon as I got to Seattle, it's beautiful out there. I bought a Harley, and just beautiful riding out in Seattle. Over the pass and just beautiful riding. But when I came back in 2018 with my bike ready to ride, my co-rider, Sid, no longer had a bike. He had
It's too
sold
crowded.
while
It's
he
too
was
crowded.
he sold his bike while I was,
Tell them,
out
how
in
you, tell them
Seattle.
how you got your first bike.
So Sid and I met, I think it was 2004 or so, running Task.
Yeah.
Sydney was running Task, a sub of Northrop Grumman. My wife reported into Sid. She ran recruiting for Task. So one summer we go to the summer picnic,
The company picnic, right?
company picnic. I didn't know anyone. I think she had just joined. So I was meeting everyone. Met Sid, had a great conversation. He brought up his Harley, and I was just kind of looking kind of dejected. I'm like, I'd love to have a Harley. And he's like, well, where's Pashan, my wife? So he goes and we find her. He walks up to her and says basically, "Why don't you let this guy get a bike?" And she was on the spot. Well, I didn't say he couldn't. I think he can if he wants. I think I had a Harley like 2 days later. Right? Like, I had it all
That's
pre-selected. So yeah, as soon as I got the yes, like I've learned, been married a long time, right? Strike while the iron's hot. As soon as
before the window closes.
Yeah, as soon as I got the yes, I think that Sunday or Saturday when I got home, I was online, figured out where the inventory was, and I think 2 days later, I was pulling up. It's awesome.
You're welcome.
I thank you for that. It was beautiful. And I think after that, countless Harley rides.
Oh yeah, we went all over the place. Yeah.
All over the place.
Remember that time we went to the New River Bridge?
We took an overnight trip from here out to New River Gorge.
Gorge, yeah, out to West Virginia.
We rode out to West Virginia. Beautiful riding. It was a great day. We stayed at a B&B
right
out in West Virginia, and then came back the next day. And that was just probably one of the highlights of my motorcycle riding. That was a great trip.
That was a lot of fun.
Was it 3 of us?
Yeah, me, you, and the guy who used to work for me. Yeah. I mean, the other guy racing down the Allegheny Mountains, racing down, and it's raining. The dogs are chasing us, and these junkyard dogs out of this. I mean, we get up to put our rain gear on, and these 3 mangy mutts are. I had half a raincoat on and trying to get my biking gear.
No.
And it's pouring down raining.
Yeah, he's not joking. It's raining, so we pull over to put rain gear on, and these wild dogs came out of nowhere. So we're like, scrap the rain gear.
Yep.
We gotta go.
I'd rather get wet than you get rabies, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was pouring for part of that ride, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Remember we took our gloves off and we had all the stain from the gloves on our hands?
I was drenched. Yeah, it was good.
Sid really liked the bed and breakfast, though, I think.
Oh, that was wonderful.
The B&B. It was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, but I remember. So it was a funny story. So at the bed and breakfast, very small, but a beautiful house. I guess that night, the place was at capacity. And Sid had this. So the guy that owned the house and ran the B&B kicked his daughter out of the bedroom so Sid could sleep in the bedroom.
She was mad at me all
The
day.
little girl was mad at him the whole
Oh,
time.
crap.
I've been riding all day. I need some sleep.
Right. So the little girl, she couldn't wait for us to leave. She wanted her bedroom back.
I know, right?
It's pretty funny. That's good stuff.
Holy crap.
Did you ever ride?
No. I got the itch, but when I turned 50, I was like, I'll get one now. And I had a bunch of coworkers that I worked with up there in Lansdowne. They were like, your reflexes are going to be a lot slower now. I'm
That's
going,
exactly why I sold my bike.
crap.
Yep, I was 57 and 58, and I had a little incident and said, get rid of it. I'm pressing my luck.
Yeah, and same thing. Like after Sid sold, I wasn't really riding much, and so I had always wanted to keep the bike. I didn't care. It just sat in the garage, right?
Yep.
And then after a couple years, my wife was like, look, it's just literally sitting there. You're not riding it. And I'm like, it's not bothering anybody. Just leave it.
Right.
So then eventually I did decide to sell, but I put a lot of work into it, had it just the way I wanted it. So I listed it for sale, and it took me more than 2 years to get my price.
Wow.
And so one day a guy called, hey, I see the ad. I love it. I want to come and take a look at it. Okay. Comes up. He looks at it. His buddy drives him up. So he's planning to take it with him when he comes up. And I wasn't quite prepared. I thought this would be like a long sales process and he would come back later. He looks at the bike. He goes to his buddy and he comes back with cash for the bike. And it was moving way too fast for me. And next thing you know, he's gone. I got a handful of cash and I'm like, I'd rather have the bike. So I'm telling you, like, I don't know at what point, but as soon as I figure out where we're going to be retirement-wise, where it's slower and not a lot of traffic, I may dabble again. But in this area, there's too much traffic, too
many people on their phones.
Too many people on their phones. It's
That's
just not a
key
good
right
idea.
there.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
One day,
We shall see.
we'll see.
So you want to say anything about Stogie Hub?
So yeah, I think most people know by now. Like Stogie Hub is concept that I created. The platform's been out for about 6 weeks now, and really what it is it's an online members-only platform for cigar aficionados to buy and sell accessories amongst themselves. So think about eBay, where buyers are sellers and sellers are buyers. Right. That's my platform, right? And so, put together a beautiful website, worked with a development team in Pakistan. They did an awesome job. And so now it's just a function of making sure there's awareness, because as best I can tell, for this type of platform, I don't see another competitive platform out there. So I know there's a need, there's a market, and for me, I'm just making certain that I'm creating that awareness so people know that it's there. And so it's been going well. I mean, I'm adding users every day. People are transacting. But I think eventually what it'll gravitate towards is an online platform for collectors. People that are looking for unique cigar accessories that you can't readily find in the market.
Kind of like what I
So Kevin has things that are very unique. I'm like, hey, put those up, right? And he also spends time woodworking and creating and making ashtrays.
Oh, wow.
Put those up. They're beautiful.
Right.
Put those up and see what kind of market receptivity there is. So
yeah, I've got some 1930s metal and glass cigar lids that have like the advertisements on the back of it. I think the one said something like 2 cigars for 5 cents.
Oh, man. And you're going to host the podcast on the website as well, right? You'll be able to see the podcast.
So the website's up. It's stogiehub.com. And while the development team was building out the website, I started the podcast as a way just to create awareness. So the podcast is on YouTube, Stogie Hub. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. And then one of the first enhancements that I did to the website after we launched is now all of the podcasts and episodes are embedded onto the website. So the hope is driving traffic to the website to check out the podcast while they're there.
Right.
They're looking at the inventory and things that are available for sale. And they're also thinking about things that they have that they may also want to list for sale. So that's really the hope.
So they can get that next best item, right?
That's it. So the thought process is for the guy that's a collector, like DuPont lighters, right? So I have a few, but I'm always on the hunt for the next best one. But psychologically, a lot of times I'm not really there ready to make that purchase because I know what I already have, right? So the platform is an opportunity for folks to lighten the load on what they have, so that they can go into kind of a guilt-free purchase of what they want.
Right. Great.
So that's really the
concept. It's a good model.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, and again, adding users every day, which has really been awesome. And because it's unique, it's a unique platform.
Right.
The company's been featured in Cigar Press magazine.
You get a lot of press.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And then I went out to PCA in New Orleans a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to have a 30 or 45-minute conversation with one of the editors of Cigar Journal, and that conversation evolved into the second published article on Stogie Hub that's now available on Cigar Journal. That just launched last Friday.
That's awesome.
So both of those articles, again, if you hit stogiehub.com and you click on media coverage, you'll see links to both of those articles. So really happy about both of those. And, I'm having conversations every day with other folks that want to talk about it, even local media, having meetings with folks about exposure and just understanding what it is and understanding the unique opportunity for folks to take advantage of the platform.
You've even got some requests to do this podcast in other cigar lounges around the country.
Yeah, I think the thing, I've been surprised by the market's reception to the podcast. There's been a lot of interest. I now have people coming to me that want to be featured, which I think is awesome.
Absolutely. Happy
to have some of the folks that have been joining, really great conversations, having a great time. But one of the things that I didn't anticipate are smaller lounge owners that want to feature their lounge. They'll have a beautiful location, beautiful lounge, and they want to highlight that, but they don't have the technical know-how, or they don't have the video expertise or the interviewer or the editing or the social media expertise to bring it all together.
Right.
So those folks are I'm now creating a market for small lounge owners where we'll go to their lounge on the podcast, have a podcast episode,
Right.
take a tour of their lounge, let the owner highlight their story, and have an engaging conversation. So we've got probably, I don't know, I think I've had 6 or 7 conversations with lounge owners across the country, and we've got probably a couple lined up. Dates certain, and arrangements have been made. So again, having a great time, but
It's a lot of progress. For
never
a short
really
amount of time.
never realized that this was going to happen. I mean,
Right.
the podcast I started at the end of December, and the concept around Stogie Hub, I literally started that company on October 2nd and launched the website, I think, the middle of March. So it's
Well,
been
congrats.
it's been fascinating.
it's a lot of progress.
It's been very humbling at times, right? Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. You
Right.
know, you come out of corporate roles and you tend to think that because you've moved around and you've done a lot of different things,
Right.
you think that you know it all until you're tasked with making every decision.
Well, now you're the pointy end of the stick.
That's it, and that's
Yeah.
good and bad,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like I endear that work, but the flip side is the buck stops with you, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
it's a double-edged sword. But I've been having a great time and looking forward to future prospects.
Well, congratulations on that.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. How about when you think about, Kevin, your journey around cigars and bourbon? Like, you know, we come to you with a lot of questions around bourbon, given your knowledge and your expertise. How did you determine that bourbon was your preference over some of the other options out there?
I mean, I hate to phrase it this way, but I will.
Yeah.
I like to drink it all. And
There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, with working in the wine's still a passion.
Yep.
But, you know, I love beer, but I love good old staple beer, and you know what beer I drink pretty regularly.
Yep.
Good old Pabst Blue Ribbon.
On the deck therapy.
We used to call it PBR Street Gang.
That's right, baby.
That's it.
But I mean, with wine, I love to highlight Virginia wines specifically because with driving groups around, sometimes they'll go, we're thinking about coming down to Charlottesville. And I said, well, it depends on where you're staying and where
Right.
you want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they're staying in Waynesboro, I said, you definitely, you want to hit Afton, Septenary, King Family, Pollock. And, you know, we basically, the tour group I work for, we do a 5-hour tour, and it's 3 vineyards in those 5 hours because it depends on, the last thing anybody wants to do is spend time in the vehicle.
Right.
And I've had groups that came to Loudon and they wanted to go out to like Bro, and they were staying in Middleburg, and I'm going,
That's a
did
long
you bring
ride.
a cooler with
yeah.
you?
Yeah. Right. That's
Oh,
not
we
gonna-
can do that? I said, you're welcome to. So, you know, they said, no, we'll be all right. And I'm going, that's going to be 45 minutes.
Right.
Because I still got to go through Leesburg. And once I get on 9, I mean, everybody else is going to be out tasting wine today. So,
Assume there's no traffic.
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
But, I mean, with the bourbon, it just something that came together. And for me, I like lower proof bourbon, but my sweet spot is that bottled in bond, which is 100 proof.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And most of all the E.H. Taylor, except for the barrel proof, that's all 100 proof.
Right.
But I've got friends who love those cask strengths, those barrel proofs.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty hot stuff.
It is. I've got one there from Bowman. My girlfriend won one of the lotteries recently, and so we went down and picked it up, and it's the Oak series, and it was done in American oak this time. And it's 135 proof.
Wow.
Wow.
They should call that casket, not cask.
It drinks like it's 80.
Oh, yeah?
It's scary.
Until
Until you stand up.
Yeah, exactly. Usually about that second glass, I'm going,
Ooh,
I gotta
man.
take a nap.
Yeah.
And I bought Knob Creek one time, and I didn't notice it was single barrel. That's 120 proof.
Yep.
And the regular knob creep's like 90. Right?
Yep. Yeah, it's got to, I mean.
And I had like 2 glasses of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, did somebody put something in my drink?
What happened here?
I know, right?
Yeah.
So it's still sitting in my bar. I don't touch it.
Yeah, bourbon it can't be any lower than 80 proof.
Right.
And, when a lot of the guys, I mean, you're seeing more and more cast strengths out there. And,
Right.
I mean, the one I've got 1 pour of it left, was the first cast strength, batch 1 from Bowman, that I had won from the Virginia Lottery. And that was 141 proof.
Wow.
And
It's a great alcohol.
it's a lot. Yes, it is.
Yeah, too rich for my. Even if you put a big cube in it and let it sit for an hour, it's still going to be
It's still going to be too warm.
too warm. Yeah. It's too hot. Yeah.
What's we'll go ahead and get ready to wrap, Kevin. So what's next for you?
I mean, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and I mean, with driving, it keeps me busy on the weekends.
Yeah.
But I mean, still looking for certain things out there that I can put on the shelf, and
Yeah.
I'm still looking for a replacement. I'm would love to win another bottle of Pappy 12,
Yeah.
but it went from $79.99 to $149.99.
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
If you can get it,
yeah,
right? Like,
but
Wow.
I mean, if I could find Pappy for that, I'd get a bottle, but I don't. Where do you go?
But I've done blind tastings where I've had somebody pour Weller 12 and Pappy 12, just sit it in front of me. And
Yeah.
sit there and taste them both. My girlfriend's going, well, I said, that's Weller, that's Pappy. And she went, how do you do it?
How?
I said, because that Weller 12 is better than that Pappy 12.
Wow. Very nice.
Years of experience.
Yeah, you could say that.
Excellent.
No, this has been great. I mean, we appreciate
Thanks for being
the
here, Kevin.
opportunity,
Yeah.
Kevin. It's been enlightening, giving us a lot to think about, and so
I've learned a lot about bourbon and
yeah, I'm going to
the
be,
industry. So thank you for that, for your knowledge.
Oh, you're all more than welcome.
as you know, I'm on the prowl for Elmer. So if you ever are out there,
If I
get my
happen to-
guys out there looking, let me know.
Yep. I mean, if anybody's looking for things, if I happen to walk in and be like, I better grab it. And
Well, again, Sid, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Kevin, thanks for everything. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
We look forward to bringing you back on. As things evolve, we'd like to stay current with things that are going on in the sector for bourbon. So we'll have you back on. And with that, again, I want to thank Justin and James at Rebellion Cigar Room for allowing us to use the venue. Great venue for great conversations around a great cigar. So we thank them for that. And with that, if you want to check out Stogie Hub, you can go to the website at stogiehub.com. I'm on Instagram, stogie.hub. And you can find the podcast on the website, stogiehub.com/podcast. And these episodes will soon be up on YouTube, Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts. With that, we will say good evening. We look forward to coming together next time.
Good night.
Thanks for lighting one up with us. That was Stephen Mann. And you've been listening to Burn and Learn. The Cigar Lifestyle Podcast is brought to you by Stogie Hub. Elevate your cigar game. And Access Studios. Access the power of video. Don't forget to visit our YouTube channel for exclusive content and hit that subscribe button to stay updated.